In collaboration with the Games Rating Authority, here's what families should know about No Man's Sky, PEGI 7. From what to watch out for to what makes this game great, this is the ultimate quick guide.
No Man's Sky is a space exploration game with role-playing elements in which players travel through space discovering new planets, each with their own flora and fauna. Each world and its lifeforms is procedurally generated, meaning that in a shared universe of 18 quintillion planets, each player will discover worlds unseen by any other player. The game is played from a first-person perspective, both on foot as the player explores each planet, and within the cockpit as the player travels between worlds. There is an element of straightforward shooting combat both on the ground and in space, but the game is much more concerned with exploring and cataloguing the wonders of the universe, including all the resource gathering, trading and upgrading equipment required to make that exploration possible. No Man's Sky takes place within a shared universe, and the names players give planets and species are logged on the main server and shared with other players, but there is no direct multiplayer interaction and players landing on the same planet cannot see each other. No Man's Sky is in the space trading lineage of 1980s classic Elite, and therefore an obvious parallel is with Elite Dangerous, but it also has roots in gentler exploratory games like the far simpler but equally colourful Proteus. In the UK and Europe, PEGI rates No Man's Sky PEGI 7 for non-realistic violence towards fantasy characters. The Games Rating Authority expand on its PEGI details by saying that No Man's Sky is a first-person open-world survival game in which players can engage in combat with hostile alien ships. The Games Rating Authority goes on to state that these battles are typical space shooter dogfights, where laser beams are flying all over the screen, and that you do not see those inside the ships harmed. The Games Rating Authority explains that the player can also harm the non-human creatures living on the planets, but that violence depicted is unrealistic with no physical injuries or gore. No Man's Sky casts the player as the Traveller, who begins their journey on an unknown planet near a crashed spaceship. Under the guidance of a being called the Atlas, the Traveller must journey to the centre of the galaxy, cataloguing what they find along the way and reporting back to the Atlas about them in exchange for in-game currency. No Man's Sky is available for PS4 and PC for around £30 or $60. Due to the limited interaction with other players, No Man's Sky does not require a PS Plus account to utilise its multiplayer functions. No Man's Sky is a big game, and it could take well over 25 hours to reach the centre of the galaxy and complete a game, although that depends on player ability. The procedurally generated planets means some players could spend much longer on their first planet, depending on the resources available and resistance they meet as they gather what they need to fix their ship. That procedural generation also means there's scope for repeated playthroughs encountering different worlds, but if you find the gameplay repetitive first time round, changing the scenery is unlikely to alter that. It can be a lonely universe out there even if thousands of other players are exploring it too. While there are alien factions to encounter, alien animals to observe and space pirates to shoot at, ultimately the Traveller journeys alone, and this isn't a game with a strong character component. The spirit of exploration means solitude, and you need to be able to enjoy that. What the game does offer is an opportunity to step out of normal life and immerse yourself in a diverse galaxy where each planet has its own landscape and life forms. There's a lot to sit, breathe and wonder at in No Man's Sky, although players hoping for an entirely placid chance to reflect on existence may find themselves rudely interrupted by aggressive robots. There's also a studied amorality. Combat is primarily a defensive necessity, but you can also open fire on unthreatening creatures. While the robot sentinels that pop up whenever you mine too much of a substance are a hint towards the benefits of sustainability, ultimately this is a game where you have to take what you need to get on with your journey. No Man's Sky's main selling point is the thrill of discovery, the moments of wonder that come from pointing to a random spot on the map, going to it and seeing wonderful things when you get there. Its clever tech means that players get to see whole worlds, species and landscapes that no other player has experienced, charmingly rendered in splashes of vivid unearthly colour. However, surface variety conceals a limited number of types of creatures, plants and materials out there, and most interactions are highly simplistic. With straightforward combat and repetitious resource management, No Man's Sky won't please players who want either an action-oriented game or a complex simulation. There's breathtaking solitary spectacle to be found in No Man's Sky, but players have to negotiate some less than spectacular gameplay elements along the way.
Thanks for watching our Parent's Guide to No Man's Sky. Please let us know how your family got on with the game in the comments, and subscribe for more Parents' Guides.